Everything.
Camera is on.
Welcome to the world of Rouge. I am Oliwia Rouge and Shredy is here with me. Last week we had a very interesting questions from the audience and we talked about the power of words and about passions. And the last topic, because it's so interesting, we wanted to talk about today. And I will repeat it once again. And it was, how important is the shape of a person? So to be honest, I prepared a lot of things. I had many thoughts coming up to my mind about this topic, and I wanted to talk about it since a very long time because there's so many different things you can say about it. So in general, like the appearance and how important this is, I think it's like all over the place, right? So it starts with advertisement, what you can buy, the products you can buy. A lot of them refer to the appearance of the person, how they should look or how they could look. And it's about how people talk with a person. It's about how people talk about a person. It's about how people treat a person. And also, I think culturally, it's also very differentiated how people see different people. Yeah. So, yeah, I can talk about my experience, like from the Polish culture that I partly grew up with. And I think that the Polish culture, it's very, very important how you look on the outside. So when you go to school, on the first day of school, you have to have you have to be dressed very well when you go to weddings or the church and stuff like that. This is one topic on its own. But what I realized and what didn't make me feel comfortable was that it's more important how you are dressed like, what you have on, and if your hair is brushed or not, but not if the person is nice or not nice, you know? So many people can allow to be like rude people and assholes, but at least they have a nice appearance. And I also made myself experiences where even my family judged different people and sometimes even myself if I didn't have this perfect appearance. You know, what the Polish culture would say, it's the proper one. So this is one topic about it. Yeah. And the other one is for sure if a person is seen as healthy, like if they have overweight or if they have the features that a culture would see as beautiful or not, that also shapes a lot the treatment of how people treat this person. Oh my God, I have a hair here all the time. Do you see it? Oh, damn, but feel it. Yes, now it's gone. All the time with my
appearance.
Yeah, the
Appearance.
Yeah, so that was the first thoughts that came into my mind about this topic. And for sure some others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this theme of the image is so important because when someone is conscious of it, he can use it for their advantage. But naturally, the image is supposed to represent, the image is part of the holistic. It means that when you see an apple and it's corrupt on the outside, most likely it's from the inside also corrupt. But if we see an apple that is on outside healthy, so we think that is also on the inside, it's healthy. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, everyone can choose whatever they want. Everyone can choose to eat a corrupt apple. And if they like, he can get sick and he can enjoy the sickness. I'm not going now to judge people for their choices, but at least we are conscious of the cause and effect. So we're not saying this is good, this is bad, this image is good, this image is bad, overweight is good, overweight is bad. I'm not saying that. If somebody would like to live like this and enjoy all the outcome of those of this result, they can enjoy that. Only if somebody doesn't like it and is not satisfied with the outcome, they can choose to change. So there's no judgment here in the sense of make this and don't make that. But from my point of view, I know that I want to eat a healthy apple. And I want to eat healthy food because it keeps me healthy, body and mind. My mind is not busy with my health. My health is functioning in the background how it should. And then my mind is busy with creativity, with love, with interacting with people that I like. So I don't need to worry about my health. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, when someone is conscious of the power of the image, they can use it for their benefit. That has nothing to do with the inside. So someone can be ignorant, not professional, doesn't know anything about anything, but he's dressed with a suit and the hair is like many phenomena I see in Germany. Really, people are not professionals. They don't know what they're doing, what they're saying. But because they're in a certain shape and they're dressed in a certain way, people say, wow, they must know something about something. So some people can hijack this concept of the image and use it out of context for their opportunistic advantages. Now, they might achieve goals for the short run, but to achieve a lifetime positive outcome, this is something else. So in order to make that happen, we cannot compromise the holistic, the inside and the outside, to be one. And then, because, this journey is not just achieving success now, making one deal and becoming rich, and after that, I need to pay the price of the scam. No, it's a lifetime journey. And an image is also in the animal kingdom. It is also sending a message. Like, those when you're in the forest or in the jungle, when the deer is running and suddenly he's flying high and makes some kind of movement. So he's telling the predator, he's telling the lions and the predators, it's not worthy to chase me because I'm so fit and strong. Find someone else. Find someone who's weaker than me. So the image is already communicating to the outside, I'm strong, I'm healthy. I'm seeing it now in the animal kingdom where there's no engineering and manipulation. There's no racism. There is no media manipulating and shaping the mindset how we should perceive health and beauty. I'm talking about nature now. Of course, in the human society, those sciences have been hijacked. So they could be used out of context. No wonder that, some belief systems, social belief systems, racism, nationalism, define beauty through the filter of racism, through the filter of nationalism. So they're not really accessing reality. They see it through the programming. I'm not talking about this. Of course, if you're a person who needs to navigate in a racist society, so we need to be aware of those programmings in order to make the right choices. But regardless of that, the image is not something that is separated from the essence. It is supposed to be a description.
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying, but still something comes to my mind, like a lot of things are personal taste, right? So if I, for example, have a personal taste of wearing like jogginghose, I don't know what's in English, jogginghose and a white pullover, and for example, I'm teaching, it doesn't mean that I am a teacher that doesn't know the profession or it's like sloppy. But it might be seen on the outside if I am this kind of teacher. But it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be connected, no?
If you grew up in a society that enables certain behaviors, then we lose the judgment whether it is, let's say, relevant or irrelevant. For example, if I'm having a job interview and somebody wants to have a job to work with me, I want people to be around me that I see that they can represent me. Of course, You say don't judge the book by its cover, but already, if I'm going to be serious, to work with a person who is serious, I'm expecting from the person to show solid behavior. You can be, how you call this, unique in your own way, but the moment you are around me and we are together in the same ship, your behavior and your image, when people see us together, they make a judgment about me. And I want people to perceive me. Also, I have the right to be perceived however I want. And I don't want to be perceived in ways that I don't want. So everybody's free to choose however they want to live with their lives. But if they want to connect their destiny with mine, I have also my personal taste. And my personal taste also has the right to express itself in which environment I want to be. But if somebody wants to live, to have whatever image that they want in their private life, far away from me, this is his full right to do that, far away from my personal taste. But this is his right, and I will fight for his right to live with that.
Okay, this I can understand. I mean, for me, I am different when it comes to tattoos and piercing and stuff like that, because this is my personal taste, right? What I don't like is when people, for example, there's some things that represent a certain group, right? Like people that sell themselves as anti-system and punk, and I don't care about the system and I live freely, and and there's like certain style behind it. If people like take it and they live it, but still very, very like under the system, and like, yes, what the system says, and you should not do this, and I should not do that. Like this example with standing in line for, for medicaments and stuff like that. Even though they should be against when they are in this certain kind of group. And this is something what I don't think it's cool. But on the other hand, I think also that we should not be too strict with it, because for myself, I changed my style a lot, and I was having a lot of styles through my life, because I enjoy also experimenting. And how I look now, how I want to show myself on the outside, it doesn't mean that I am like, super obedient all the time and whatever the system says, but I'm very free in my mind, and we should like criticize, we should think open, we should be open for a lot of people, and this appearance right now that I choose might not reflect it so much. Yeah, but this is like only on the styling level right now what we're talking, but there's like also another level to it, which is like, as we said, if you have like overweight, or if you have like certain look in a certain way, where are you coming from, or are you seen as pretty or not pretty, how this influence also how the society treats you. And I started to talk about it last week a little bit, and for my experience that I had was a lot of times that I was treated not like under certain filter, I was maybe seen as this pretty young girl, and in professional contexts, for example, I was treated in a not like in a sexualized way. And if I try to tell people about it, that I think I'm being reduced to my appearance and I don't feel comfortable, I was not taken seriously. And sometimes I was even afraid to tell other women about it, or like friends about it, because I was afraid that they're gonna think, now she thinks like she's super pretty. She thinks she's something special. Even though I didn't want to make myself special in the situation, I just wanted to point out that I want to be treated as everyone else. And I don't want that my appearance or being pretty would give me like extra treatment or like sexualized treatment. And I didn't feel seen like a couple of years in this, to be honest. And then I even tried to hide it. I stopped using makeup. I started dress differently. I cut my hair very short, but this was maybe for the style reason too. So yeah, this is how I handled with the situation.
Yeah, I mean, many people also, I think your experience is important because many people underestimate the effect of their appearance and their image on the psyche. So there's a difference between how I feel and how I experience, or like how I express myself, and how I'm being perceived from the outside. How I'm being perceived from the outside dictates partially the outcome of my experience. I cannot underestimate that. Like an actor on stage. Yeah, the character is going to experience relationships and conflicts, etc. But if the actor and the director are not aware of what they are presenting from the point of view of the audience, then the play was not relevant. Then I would send the wrong message. I would be misunderstood. I would not be precise. And then people would perceive you in a certain way. Then you start to experiment, how can I change my appearance in order to be perceived in a way that I want? Because I'm not happy with how I'm being perceived now. So what happens is that you start to compromise on things that are substantial in your spirit, while actually it is like being aware of the context and the message that you're sending without compromising the essence. Like, for example, I talked about, like, I don't want people around me to have piercings and things like this, or like tattoos, because they might send a message of we are gefährlich, we are dangerous. And I wouldn't want my audience or like people around me to be intimidated by certain ways. Of course, they have the right to experience it as much as they want. But also, as you said, many people are not as dangerous. They're even very obedient and cowards, but they think if they put some tattoos and piercings, they will be sexy and dangerous. And it's also going against, like, they try to create an ethos or an image that is not in line with who they really are. There's also something that can send double signals, which I try to avoid. But if someone is working in a tattoo or in piercings, so of course he might be surrounded by those people. He himself or she herself would be full of tattoos and piercings because this is how they advertise themselves. So in this context, this is their business. Mm-hmm. So people can choose according to how they want to experience life. And also if you're like kind of you look good, of course you might trigger people's jealousy or envy, or people, so they try to find ways how to reduce it. Yes. By telling you that it's not who you think you are, you're just an image. You're not, the essence is not as beautiful as the image. You're just an image. They reduce your whole existence to the image.
There were like certain ways to do it, to be honest. The one was like this feeling that they gave me when I tried to talk about it. Like I could see it in their faces and their energy. Like where's the problem? Or, this is so privileged problems, kind of, maybe. And the other strategy was like, for example, pointing out the things that were not perfect about me, body parts or stuff like that, and make fun out of it, and thinking that it's just a little joke, or, I can take it very well. And I couldn't. It hurt me a lot that they made fun of certain body parts, and then it made a lower self-esteem on me. So there was like also double signals within me, I kind of knew from the intuition that I get a very positive feedback on men or on people that are into women. But on the same hand, my self-esteem was still very low on the inside, and how I see myself and how I accept myself because of this the rude things that others said. And what you said right now, I think, yes, it's very important how you act, what you say, and how much energy you give to others. And your feelings maybe are not necessarily how others see you. But look, if you're like a good-looking person, then should I always be reserved to not be misinterpreted? It's fun to be nice and open and to give positivity without being seen like as, oh, she's flirting with me, oh, she likes me, Then it's like kind of always being like reserved and giving less, not to be misunderstood. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can also be aware of which people we are dealing with. Because some people are not the same. And some people, you can be amazing. It doesn't make a difference what you do. They are programmed not to see how amazing what you do is. And some people are programmed to see certain people, whatever they do, it's amazing, even if it's not at all. It's below average. But they will all applaud. And some people don't have the emotional capacity to process what you come with, because also it is not only the appearance, it also from the inside. You, of course, you are like coming and you want to share some love and some kindness, and to exchange that, you also want to have kind of inspiration and social exchange. You also want that. And that's why you come with your emotional wealth. But some people are not ready. Very few people. Many people are not ready to process all the emotional wealth that you come with. So you can be nice, smiling, on the outside and on the inside, and the other person who doesn't have emotional capacity to contain all that emotional wealth, they will be like, she's in love with me. Wow, life is beautiful. She's in love with me. Oh my God, I'm genius. I'm an alpha male. They will be living in a whole different fantasy out of a small smile that you gave. So you feel in a certain way, but this specific person experienced a whole different message. And he or she built expectations upon it. And they will come back asking for more. And if they don't get what they expect, they might experience rejection. And this might trigger conflicts and misunderstandings.
Yeah.
And resentment. So we know it. It is it's not enough how we feel, but also kind of what we project, how we are being perceived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So it's about learning how to being aware with whom you're dealing with, and what you're saying, how much you're giving, because this creates then a certain outcome. Yeah. Okay. Yes. We had another question going in this direction.
Yeah, after we had this episode, there was a long question that came after that. Let me see what it is. I live in Europe and I see many things. Clothing, costumes, dyeing hair affect the person. For example, many people reject the appearance of a person because he is, for example, not from Europe. But he can break this barrier when he puts an earring directly. You can break these costumes so the society accepts you. Or you grow the hair, for example, resembling women's hair. I see here that the majority of women and the minority of men dye their hair blonde. But the problem that I see, Europeans themselves, the vast majority, dye their hair. Why? Why do you want to prove yourself to society when you are from it? I wish you can provide us with some explanations for this phenomenon, and also changing the name here gives you better acceptance, because just by hearing your name, people accept you. Okay, there's a lot of nice stuff that I say. First of all, look, Europeans are human beings, just like any place. There doesn't have to be people who are programmed on racism in order to behave in a certain manners. No, also Europeans are human beings and they want to be accepted by society. So they also have programming, maybe racist programming. They think that blonde is more beautiful. So they dye their hair blonde. And but again, this is the other side of image, which has to do with programming. So there's the programming aspect, and there is beauty in the sense of nature, which is connected with health, which is connected with the substance.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought immediately about media and advertisement and films that are influencing this. And they put it like on a large scale, certain kind of women or men looking in a certain way. And this influences like what we think is cool or beautiful, right? And then we just want to also be accepted and cool and beautiful. So that's why we then do it without maybe conscious, that's not a conscious decision that we want to do it.
Even you, one time you told me that they wanted you to have your hair blonde also, so you can be...
Yeah, that's actually crazy, you know? Also, I think it's connected to the thing that 30 and 40 years ago, when there was like a red-haired person, they were like laughing at him or her. They said, wow, red hair? So it was something you didn't want it to have. Because directly, when you were born with red hair, it was like, you're gonna have it more difficult, you know? So when I was 10 and 11 years old, I was also told, I was a girl, like a child, basically. And I was told to dye my hair blonde to be more appealing. Like if it doesn't matter if you're 10-year-old anyway, but also to be more appealing to others, you know? That's crazy. Like, why can I be appealing the way that I am already? Why do I have to prove myself to be accepted by others? And also, this was culturally also an issue, you know? Because even though I come from Europe and Germany and Poland are next to each other, the style is very different. How you behave as a woman, how you do makeup, how do your hair, how do you dress yourself. And I was many times in a conflict with this, because where I come from and where I lived, the style was super different. And I never felt like I'm a real woman that's appealing to 100%. I had a very huge difficulty in finding myself style-wise, which has had an impact on me as a woman, or like as a young woman too. Maybe that's why I also experimented a lot with style. Yes, and for sure I was told from my family how I should dress myself. So there also was not a freedom. And I think style is a lot of creativity too. So we should have like the freedom to dress the way that we want to dress, and not because people say us or tell us how to dress. It can limit our sense of identity, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's a thing that is from the point of view of the sovereign mind, not now from the point of view of the kindergarten, where every child can express himself. Okay? Mm-hmm. Or like kind of, let's splash color on the wall and we express ourselves, and everybody has the freedom to express themselves. This is when Germany gives job center money on welfare to everybody else, and everybody expresses their mind while not working. No, this is not connected with nature. Nature doesn't work this way. This is somehow social engineering. Created minds and opinions that have no connection or no consciousness of existence, of life, of survival, of transcendence. They corrupted people's minds through bribery, and people disconnected from reality. That's why they can afford racism. That's why they can afford nationalism. That's why they can afford... This is social engineering. That's why those people have difficulties to connect with something universal. Let's leave this for a moment. All the people are socially engineered. And let's go back to nature.
Okay.
Even in society, when I need to survive financially on my own, when I need to work, let's say, if I go to the hospital, for example, and I say, where is the doctor? And the nurse is pointing at a person, and I look at him, and he's all in tattoos and piercings and, rock band and dressed like this. Is this the doctor? Is this going to make the operation? People get scared. That's why the doctor dresses in white. That's why there's a specific costume in order to send a psychological message. People are conscious of that. On the other hand, when you go, for example, in the military, you might dress ceremonial sometimes, but if you need to work in the field, you need to make sure that you are warm enough, that you have pockets in the right places. So kind of here, the appearance is not only kind of psychological message, it's also a tool. I need to be ready in order to interact with certain situations. Of course, to protect me sensually. Even if I'm not in the military, I need to dress warm because it's winter and I don't want to get sick. And so there's appearance when it comes to the human, to the conscious person. I'm aware of all those elements and I use them to keep myself healthy, to send the right message, to stay functional, because my clothes are giving me functionality. And but if I just want to express myself, this is a very vague and general concept that is not like I express myself. I want to. In which context? What do I want? What are my needs? So kind of there's a lot of things when we speak about the sovereign mind and the conscious mind, there's a lot of things that I need to think about beyond just expressing myself. Of course, self-expression is not, I'm not trying here to, in the contrary. You can go and dress in a certain way and you express yourself and send the message that you want in order to achieve what you wish for. But it is not out of the kindergarten teenager rebellious mindset just for the sake of I want to go against whatever, then you are in the kindergarten. You're not an adult conscious person.
Oh my God, this is exactly what I was thinking about right now. That I had it, and I still have a part of it, of this rebellious teenager mind, that because people are like, if I see a doctor who's like dressed in a certain way, or I see a teacher that dressed in a certain way, or I see a businessman that's dressed in a certain way, I will subconsciously think they are, they know what they're doing. So me as a person was like, F that, I want to look like the opposite of it, but still on the inside be, capable of doing those things, like teaching, for example. Maybe I don't look like a teacher on the outside, but I am very capable. And I know that this is like kind of a teenager mindset because I feel that I didn't have the right to express myself. I was always told what I should wear, how I should behave. And I took this phase of this rebellious teenager into being a grown-up woman. Instead of using it, that I am aware of this, as a tool to help me improve in my life and to reach certain goals that I want to reach. I was the total opposite. And for sure, if people then misread me, I was frustrated too. I was like, oh no, they don't understand me, they misread me, they think I'm not capable of things. Yeah, sure. Because some people need a doctor all in white and a businessman in chic Anzug and a teacher with very chic and elegant and not with a lot of makeup and hip-hop style. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end, everyone is living his experience until they learn what works and what doesn't work. If they like to keep on, everyone has the right to choose and to live in the results of their actions. But at the end of the day, this experience, this group dynamics, it is way, way more complex because many people who are not as competent, they understand the effect of image and they use it and they make the maximum out of it. People come to a job interview dressing the best and they are not and they speak with confidence. They present themselves on the outside amazing and they are not as competent and they will be accepted more than people who are competent but underestimate the value or the importance of image. We cannot ignore how we are being perceived if you want to achieve goals. It's like in the theater. There's the actor and there's the character. The actor is the one who's conscious of the character. The character is reactive, but the actor is the one who's making choices. So are you an actor who's conscious of your character, or you're just a character improvising in life without being aware of its effects and its and everyone will live in the results of their actions,
For sure. And this also leads me to the thing about dressing, because today I'm concentrating a lot about the style, but for me it's an important topic. And now I realize that you can really use it as a tool, and also that I can give all the characters that live inside of me its expression and the right moment, and not the other way around. So I know what I want to do in a certain day. I have a meeting that's very important. Maybe I should not go with my most hip-hop styling, because today I feel like super hip-hop, for example. But on the days where I can be with myself and be at home and just let myself feel freely without any meetings outside, I can wear it if I feel like it. Or other days I feel like wearing something different that gives me, because I need it for my self-esteem. For example, sometimes I really like to put makeup on. Then I feel like, I'm a diva. I love myself. I look gorgeous, and then I start to feel gorgeous. And yes, then to use it in this right moments. Yeah, for myself and for the outside.
Yeah. Here comes also the thing that is, I would also, before we finish, use this thing with the question that we had here. It is important for you to be seen by society and to be accepted. Yes. So where's the rebellious, that I don't care how you receive me?
I have both.
Yeah, no, but I see, because the question that we had also, the person asked about people change their names in order to be accepted. People change something. I mean, I'm not my name, but I would also, if I changed my name to something else to be accepted, means that I identify myself with a different name. Of course, everyone is free to do whatever they want. If this makes their life easier, they can go for it. But again, do you want people to see who you really are? Then, again, this has nothing to do with the name. If you show up with health, you are in line. The inside and the outside are one. The ethos, the pathos, and the logos are one. Then I don't need to add anything else. But if I need to manipulate the outside or to manipulate the name, or to manipulate things, because I know that the inside is not complete. So I need to find shortcuts in order for people to perceive me in a certain way. Then you would and everyone is falling for that. Not only kind of everyone, Europeans, whatever, everyone is falling for that, because everyone is looking for social validation. But being sovereign and surviving this materialistic experiment and transcending the spirit within the body in the face of all challenges, there are no shortcuts for that.
This is huge what you said right now. And this is something beautiful to stop this episode on. But I still want to add one thing. It's like, yes, it's a materialistic world, but still style is also a creativity, an art. And it's beautiful to use it.
I take it even more than this. Design is not just expression. Design is consciousness. When people design a certain thing, of course, we are living now in the world here where everything is attainable. You can splash something on the wall and call it art and aesthetics. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about design and architecture and programming, where people are sitting behind the coulisses, behind the scenes, brainstorming, planning, calculating, and everything is in design. Every symbol, every color, every shape is not a random self-expression. It is based on a conscious choice. It's intentional. So the design and aesthetics, it is intentional. If it's not conscious and just kind of random expression, then of course everybody's free to do that, but it is not conscious. It is like...
Yeah, beautiful. Really beautiful what you said. And I feel very inspired on many levels right now, especially in being self-aware how I use clothing and use it as a tool. Yes, thank you. Also, thank you so much for your questions and thank you for being with us.